Hey, fellow golfers, this is Robbie from Best Ball. One of the most popular names in the golf accessory market today is Western Birch. Stop reaching in your pocket for boring plastic or plain white golf tees and elevate your game with premium wooden golf tees from Western Birch. You can customize both the hardwood and bamboo tees with one of their signature stripe patterns in a wide variety of colors. These tees are stylish enough to stand apart from the crowd, traditional enough to align with golf's heritage, and durable enough to make you forget about using anything else. Enter the code BESTBALL in the promo field in your shipping cart to add a free gift to your order. So visit westernbirch.com and get your own premium wood golf tees in the style that suits your game.
It's been one big learning experience, right? Everything I do on a daily basis, they don't teach you in school. So like from sourcing things from overseas to talking with suppliers to building websites to running meta ads to doing SEO to starting an Instagram page and growing it organically through XYZ to email marketing, right? Like this is all self-taught stuff over the last 6 years that we never learned in school.
That's the part of being the entrepreneur, right? Sometimes you just have to figure it out.
We always say just building the plane as we're flying it. So it's literally what we're doing on a daily basis.
Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to the Whole Story Podcast. I am Jonathan, hanging out with my good buddy Robbie here. We've got a great guest on today, Alec Lorenzo, because I didn't want to mess up his name, up there in Boston, hanging out. I'll tell you what, if you guys don't know about this yet, Pinned Golf, started by a group of buddies, like basically whatever you were dreaming up in your college dorm, these guys are doing. So they decided that they wanted to change golf technology game, make it fun, get some good quality to it without breaking the bank. If you haven't, or if you're on your phone listening, just go ahead and pause, go to pinnedgolf.com, go ahead and pick up something, because it's pretty exciting, the stuff that they're doing there, and couldn't be doing it better with three good buddies, right, Alec?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and I appreciate the plug. So, head on over to Pinned Golf and pick up whatever you want. So, but yeah, appreciate you guys having me on today.
No, we're always looking for folks that have good stuff going on in the golf industry. Robbie and I are best friends, so to hear what you guys are doing with just three buddies. So just take us back, like where did you guys meet? How'd you figure out everybody loved golf, and start from there?
Yeah, for sure. So my co-founder John, him and I met in sort of a small business entrepreneur class in college. So we just kind of hit it off there. We'd always chopped the shit about ideas and stuff over some beers, and just thinking one day we wanted to start our own company and work together on something. We just didn't know quite what. So we both took jobs up in Boston. He was doing sales for a tech company. I was doing sales for an IT company. And that's my first job out of school is where I met my second co-founder, Matt or Buck. He sat literally directly behind me, and similar type thing. He was a young kid out of school, hungry. In between cold calls, we would always just kind of be like, hey, what do you think about this idea? What do you think about this restaurant type, or like food delivery or something like that? So we met back in probably 2016, 2017. And then Johnny and I had met in 2014-ish. So... and funny enough, they're from like the greater Boston area. I'm from Connecticut originally, so they knew of each other, just from growing up a couple towns over, playing youth sports and everything, but weren't really friends. And then when I called them up and I was like, hey, I got this idea, I'd love both of you guys to be involved, they were like, wait a second, I know John Rao, wait, I know Matt Buckley. So it was I brought them all together. I was the matchmaker.
Fortunately, they hadn't been fighting in high school or anything like that. Yeah. Like, wait a minute, that SOB, we don't want to deal with them.
Yeah, exactly. So no bad blood there.
So where'd you go to college?
So John and I went to Assumption College in Worcester, and then Buck went to St. A's. So funny enough, we're all in the same Division II conference, just small Northeast schools.
Very nice. Well, you got to give a plug then for Assumption's entrepreneur class, bringing you guys together.
Yeah, It was a good class. It was one of those classes where you build out an entire business plan throughout the the course of the semester, and then you presented sort of Shark Tank style in front of some judges. So it was definitely a cool class.
So how'd you figure out you guys all liked golf?
How did we find it out? I think we all were playing together. Like we were all out on the course always. We always had mutual friends. So I would be playing with Johnny. I'd be playing with Buckley in two different groups. So then I just brought. It was more so just the entrepreneur. I knew both of them wanted to become entrepreneurs. I knew both of them wanted to start their own business. There was this golf course right next to our day job. It's called President's Golf Course, where we originally thought of the idea. And they had like a $800 all-you-could-play season pass for people 30 years or younger. So when we were first out of school, it was a no-brainer. I could leave work and pretty much walk over there. So I was always playing. So it just became a bonding moment for all of us while we were out on the course.
So with all the ideas, it sounds like that got tossed around, how do you settle on rangefinders and speakers?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, originally it was rangefinders, strictly rangefinders. And the original business idea was not even to sell direct consumer. The original business idea was to source a lot of these from overseas, brand them to be pinned, and then sell them to courses, and then have courses rent them out to their golfers.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So, especially up here in the Northeast, as I'm looking outside and it's 30 degrees, there's only 6-8 months out of the year that courses can try to squeeze as much revenue as possible out of their course, right? So we thought, well, this is a new revenue stream. They have we built out this whole model where it's like, all right, tee times are 7 minutes apart. You get this many golfers throughout the day. You rent it out to 10% of the people. You're making this. All you have to do is you buy in for this and that whole ordeal. So we thought it was a no-brainer, right? We just thought that we're bringing tens of thousands of dollars to these courses on an annual basis, a brand new strategy. And what we didn't realize was it was a brand new strategy, and the guy sitting behind the desk at the pro shop has been there for the last 50 years, and the last thing he wanted to do was hear me cold call him and be like, hey, Bob, you want to buy my rangefinders and rent them out to your golfers? So once we got told to screw off a few times through that, we were like, yeah, no, I think we're all set with that business model, and that's when we turned to the direct consumer aspect.
It's interesting how the courses will tell you when you're in a golf business how, I guess, the interactions you have with those type folks will kind of help direct. I mean, Jonathan and I have been doing best ball for a couple of years now, and kind of like you guys, kind of the direction of how we're doing our business model has changed. So, yeah, you listen to what's out there and the feedback you get, and then you pivot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listening to your customers, your potential customers, that's how all great businesses are started or continue to grow, right? I mean, if your customers are telling you they don't like something, or your potential customers are saying, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea, then they're never going to buy, right? So that's exactly what we did.
The sales guy in me still thinks that's a good idea, man. That's like Robbie and I are both sales guys at heart. So,
yeah. You and me both.
Gosh, that sounds like a great idea, especially like you said, for destination locations or short, around here, lots of people will have their own rangefinder because you can play 10, 11, 12 months out of the year. Yeah. But man, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's come full circle, right? Now we're in probably upwards of 1,500 pro shops across the country, and people do now have rentals or have samples that people can go out and rent for the round and use. So it has really come full circle.
Yeah.
So why did you decide on the rangefinder? It seems like there are a number of companies that are doing that and have been doing that. So why jump into, I don't want to say a crowded space, but something that people were already used to certain brand names doing it?
Yeah. Because when I had originally jumped in back in 2018, there really weren't that many, right? I think there's one big brand name that we all know of. I'm not going to give them the clout of calling them out right now, but they were sort of and they still are, right? The staple and what everyone sort of heralds as like the gold standard. So we just were so perplexed by how they could charge $400, $500, $600 for it, right? And we were just like, well, we can't afford that. So we said, okay, well, if we can't afford that, I'm sure none of our friends can afford it because they don't have I just said it. They don't have one of those models. So like there has to be some sort of market for this. And when we were able to figure out just sort of landed costs and stuff like that, we were like, well, these guys are making a ton of money on every single unit. So like that's where we realized that there was room for a potential new player in the space to come in and sort of steal market share. And that's exactly what we did.
Do you feel like I guess your strategy of I think on your sites like changing the game and trying to make it more fun, do you feel like there's a different, maybe a new era or new segment of golfers that are attracted to that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, you just look at it from a high level view, right? You look at head covers, you look at polos, you look at all of these different prints and colors and patterns on anything, right? Even shoes. So I think that is, we definitely didn't set that standard. We looked at our vertical and we were like, well, no one's really doing this in golf tech, right? You got black, you got white, you got gray, you got all these boring colors, but we saw every other vertical just going crazy with this stuff. So we were like, all right, let's see if we can do something with that. And I think the feedback that we've gotten has been great.
Yeah, we talked with the Western Birch guys just about the customization in golf, and again, if you go to pengolf.com, you can see like so many different colors of the products you guys have. Which somebody's favorite color is green. I saw you guys promoting that one recently. Like you can go get a green rangefinder. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah, and that was just something that we didn't see that out there, and we didn't really understand why it wasn't out there, right? You look at other pieces of technology, whether it's a laptop, whether it's an iPhone, whatever it may be, like there's a bunch of different colors in that. So once we realized that we could make different colored rangefinders, we were like, all right, this is a great idea.
Well, it's such a low cost, you could even get a couple different colors to match your polos. So like your tees match, your color of the ball, you got your, yeah, right? You need 2 or 3 of them just to make it work. Exactly. So the question that a lot of people may say though is, why do I need a range finder, right? I've got sprinkler heads, I've got 150 markers, 200 markers. I might not even know how far my ball will travel depending on what club I pick up. So if you're talking to someone, they say, I'm kind of new into this, I don't know if I'm very good. How does a range finder help my game?
Yeah. I mean, I think this day and age, at least the courses that I play, the sprinkler heads, they're beat up. They've been run over 1,000,000 times. You can barely even make out the number that's on them, right? But it just, knowing your distances truly does help your game, right? And I think even before you step foot on a golf course with a rangefinder, I think, again, you might get made fun of for using a rangefinder on the range, but like figuring out how far you hit your clubs will shave strokes off your game almost immediately, right? Like if you're swinging a 6-iron when you really should be swinging an 8-iron, and you don't know that because you don't know how far you hit your clubs, like that completely changes your game. So just getting your distances dialed in from the range, and that translates out to the course. And realistically, the only way to do that is by using a measuring device. And I truly think the easiest and most accurate is a rangefinder, right? You have handheld GPSs that just give you front, back, center, but like that's not that accurate. Rangefinder just gives you the straight point A to point B, and even our rangefinders have the slope in it, so it'll adjust for all of that.
That's awesome. Well, you guys have added other products to your grouping. You've got speakers now. Music on the course is a big topic. Everybody I play with, we love having music. Have you found any pushback from that, or I guess maybe the question is, why then jump from rangefinders to speakers?
Yeah. To answer your first question, yes, we've had pushback from that. I think, again, just as an older generation of people who don't like to hear other people's music on the course, and you see it in some of our Facebook ads that we run. You just have older gentlemen and older ladies just commenting, keep your music to yourself, and all of that. And I can respect that, right? People want to go out there. They don't want to hear me blasting J. Cole or Drake or anything like that. They want to be focused on swinging their shot. But I think we made the switch because we did a great job, and we've been doing a great job, and we still are doing a great job of selling rangefinders. But in order to grow the company to the point we want to, if our product's as good as we say it is, which it obviously is, you're not buying a rangefinder every single year, right? So we needed other products to sell to our customer base, because what we realized is people love our brand, people love our products, we just had nothing else to sell them. So it was just like, we could sell them hats, we could sell them little trinkets and things like that, but that's not who we started the company. That's not what we started the company to do, right? If we wanted to do that, we would have started a div tool company or a tea company or something like that. So I think staying in the golf technology vertical is something that we realized that we wanted to early, and I think just a natural transition was to transition to speakers. And again, other players in our space had done that successfully, so we said, well, why can't we?
Well, and you brought up the fact that, why you started the company. You guys have the Penn Golf's 4 core values, right? Elevate the game of every golfer, style that turns heads, push the envelope, and stand the test of time. So talk about, how do you feel that guiding not only what you get into, but maybe even what you don't get into?
Yeah, I mean, I think just being able to go back to those core values every time we look at an opportunity is what's helped us get to where we are today. I think, again, there's running a business, there's a ton of shiny objects out there, right? You look one way and you're like, ooh, that company's doing that. We could definitely do that, right? But then it strays us too far off. It takes our attention in a direction that isn't focused on our core values. And I think those core values have been sort of instilled in us since the beginning, back in 2018, and it's really helped us get to where we are today. It's definitely taken some wordsmithing to get to those concrete core values, but they've definitely been sort of the guiding light to help us grow to the point that we are today.
What have been some of the biggest challenges you guys have faced as y'all have grown the business?
Yeah, great question. I think the biggest thing when we first started, it was all a side hustle for all of us. So when we first started in 2018, we all kept our day jobs, and it was just time management, right? I think doing sales, as you guys know, is a grind as is. And then to do that from 9 to 5 and then come home from 6 to 10, work on another business is tiring. And again, being 2-3 years out of school, the last thing my buddies want to hear is, hey, dude, like, I can't go out to the bar this weekend because I got to fulfill orders or I got to do that. So, like, being able to prioritize and really focus on what is important to help push this forward has been a struggle at times, just because, again, we're in a position that not a lot of people are. None of my really close group of friends, or none of our close group of friends, necessarily run their own business. So it's we don't have that. We can't relate to them in that aspect. So time management has definitely been something that's been difficult at times, and then not difficult, but it's been one big learning experience, right? Everything I do on a daily basis, they don't teach you in school. So, like, from sourcing things from overseas, to talking with suppliers, to building websites, to running meta ads, to doing SEO, to starting an Instagram page and growing it organically through XYZ, to email marketing, right? Like, this is all self-taught stuff over the last 6 years that we never learned in school. I don't know if they do it now, which I would hope that they do, just because e-commerce is such a big vertical and there's just so many opportunities within that vertical that I really hope that they do that now. But it's been a huge learning experience just to sort of teach ourselves how to do all of this stuff.
Well, I mean, that's the part of being the entrepreneur, right? Sometimes you just have to figure it out.
We always say, just building the plane as we're flying it. So it's literally what we're doing on a daily basis.
Probably didn't teach podcast interviews either. You just have to learn those with goofballs like us.
No, yeah, that was not in my marketing major. That's for sure. But
let's get back in touch with Assumption and see if we can address some of those. Maybe you could become like an adjunct professor.
It's funny. We do work with a lot of interns through Assumption. So
nice.
Not that we give back, but I'm an entrepreneur nut at this point, right? I love all sorts of different entrepreneurs. So anyone who wants to learn or get into the industry, right? I love just talking through it and answering any questions that they have. So we have a handful of interns every year from each given school, St. A's and Assumption. So it's been cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Well, it sounds like you might not have a ton of time for golf, especially on 30-degree days in Boston. But we always ask our guests to tell us the story of your most memorable golf shot.
My most memorable golf shot. I don't have a hole in one, so it's definitely not that.
Join the club.
Yeah,
That's right.
my most memorable golf shot. That's a good one. I don't know. None of that really stick out at me. I think one that jumps out at me was a couple years ago. I was playing around against some buddies, and we came down to like 18, and we were me and my partner were down, I think, a stroke, and I chipped in, and we ended up just taking the entire round just based off that one chip in, because they ended up bogeying, and I think I birdied. So I think that's the only one that kind of jumps out at me.
Yeah, it always feels good whenever you can beat your friends. I haven't gotten there yet. Someday I'll end up being better than my friends, but right now I'm still a bad golfer.
All because he knew the exact distance on the.
That's right.
Using his
Yeah.
pinned rangefinder.
You gotta cultivate that story, man. You're like, I was 153 yards out with
I
a
knew
2-degree
exactly.
slope.
Well, like you said, they don't teach podcasts and thinking of things in school. So I had to. Nothing really jumped out at me.
Hey, golf friends. This is Robbie from Best Ball. Are you looking for the ultimate Myrtle Beach golf experience? Well, it's only a click away. Check out the 2-play special at 2 of America's most awarded public golf courses and 2 of my personal favorites. Caledonia Golf and Fish Club and True Blue Golf Club are low country masterpieces featuring 2 iconic Mike Strantz designs. Play these 2 incredible courses for one great price. Visit truebluegolf.com to learn more about the 2-play special and book your tee time today. That's truebluegolf.com. Well, this might be easier. This is, I'm sure, as an entrepreneur, you've been taught to think quick. We do this thing called a quick 9. It's kind of a rapid fire. You can elaborate on your answers as much as you want, but we'll just do a quick 9 here with you. First question: favorite course that you've ever played?
Favorite course that I ever played? Pocasset down in like Cape Cod area.
Nice. What is your bucket list course?
The one right behind you.
Yeah, that's not a bad one, right?
Yeah.
No, it's Augusta. Yeah.
All right. Who, if you get to play there, who would be in your dream foursome?
Who would be my dream foursome? I'd say my dad, my brother, and probably Tiger Woods.
You're not going to make your other 2 business partners like fight to figure out who's going to be the 4th?
You there?
Yeah, I don't think his business partners will mind if he maybe he gets them to caddy for him.
That's right.
Yeah. No. They wouldn't make the cut.
All right. So I don't know if this is big, with your pin golf, checking out the distance. What is your favorite distance to hit a shot from?
I'd say like 100, like probably 110 yards out, 115 yards.
What club are you using?
Nice, easy, like 50-degree wedge.
Nice.
Very nice. All right. On your pinned speaker, what music are you playing?
It's a great question. Combination of like Drake, J. Cole. I'm a big rap guy. Or that's not the vibe. Then probably like Dave Matthews or like Red Hot Chili Peppers, things like that.
What is your favorite snack on the course?
Favorite snack on the course is it's got to be a snapper at the turn.
Very nice. All right. Favorite golf course logo?
Favorite golf course logo. That's a good one. I'm going to give a shout out to a country club I used to work at back when I was growing up called Wampanoag. They had a sweet Indian, they still do. They had a sweet Indian mascot with like the big headdress and everything. So I'd say that one. Wampanoag Country Club in West Hartford, Connecticut.
Cool.
There you go. What's next for pin golf?
Great question. Just continuing to grow, continuing to innovate within the golf technology space. We're growing as a team, so we just hired a new marketing manager, and we're just going to continue to grow, push the boundaries within the golf technology space, push the boundaries of people getting better at golf, having more fun out on the course, and just to continue to grow with the game of golf.
All right, final question, kind of similar to the last one. Why should somebody stop listening to this right now and go to pingolf.com and buy some of your stuff?
Yeah, great question. Because like you mentioned before, our four core values, right? I think you'd be supporting a group of great individuals who set out to make the game of golf more accessible and to allow people to have more fun out on the course. So all of our products are super high quality. You won't have any sort of issues with any of them, and it will truly help your game get better with our rangefinder, and it will truly have more fun out on the course with our speakers. So you can head to pingolf.com and check out anything you want.
Yeah. So there you go, folks. Listener, if you're still with us and you haven't already gone and purchased your pin golf stuff, cool colors that you can mix and match. Make sure a couple match some of your Sunday red polos or things like that. For Robbie and Alec, this is Jonathan with another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.
Today's podcast is sponsored by Atomic Golf. If you need custom ball markers, divot repair tools, and more that are made from high-quality materials like solid copper and brass and look really good, then you should check out our friends at Atomic Golf. If courses like Old Barnwell, Landman, Sweetens Cove, and more are already working with them, then you should too. Visit atomicgolf.club and follow them on Instagram at Atomic Golf.